over on another table, there's a very, very well-known actress.
So, life in LA. How was that? And who was it?
Oh no, I can't say it.
Oh, come on, we've got to be able to reveal that. Right, so pie's out the oven.
Yeah.
Looks great, by the way.
Oh no, it should do.
It does look really good. So we'll let that cool down, and we'll bring it through, and then we'll trim off the pastry, and then you can portion it up and everything else.
Right.
So you've got a couple of dishes that you're going to bring together. Now, I do know when we were talking that you needed some Chimay chili powder.
Yeah.
I know we're not using it today.
No.
But I went out of my way to find you Chimay chili powder.
Thanks.
And what I thought I was ordering for you did arrive, but we have to save it for another time because what they sent me was seeds, and you have to grow your own. So there's a gift for you.
Well, thank
and
you
I
very
want
much.
to see it when they grow. Okay?
I really need to
them.
know what climate. I'll have to look into this.
Well, I'll leave that with you. Put it in your pocket of things. Right. So what have you got?
Right. So this is the main course, if you will. I've got some chicken in there. It's been marinating for at least 24 hours now.
Chicken in a bag.
This is called polo pibil, and it's a Yucatan thing.
Right.
So it's Mexican.
Yeah.
But it's been absorbed by, because like I said, southwestern cuisine is a mixture of Mexican, all sorts of things. So the marinade is basically, you take whole cloves, whole cumin seeds, a cinnamon stick, some black peppers, and then you just toast them in a dry pan. You take them off to cool. So whilst you're doing that, secret ingredient.
Which is?
It's called achiote paste, and the Mexicans use this. And I still don't know quite what it's made out of. It's a mix of herbs and spices, but you find they actually use it in a lot of things. And it's like a gravy cube.
Yeah. Okay.
Or something like that, a stock cube.
So you lay it down with water, olive oil.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. Even I sometimes do it with a little bit of vinegar as well.
Okay.
Because I like the sharpness. So you put that in with these, which have now cooled down and you've crushed. Some marjoram, juice of orange juice, and some lime juice as well. You'd use about 1 cup of that, and I'd say about a third of a cup of limes. Some crushed garlic, then you whizzle that up. Yeah. And that's what your marinade is for the chicken.
And then just leave it.
That's it. You just leave that, and then we're going to take that out of there, and then we're going to put it straight
okay. And then what we've got? So aubergine, courgette, zucchini.
Yeah.
Wherever you are in the world. Red pepper or capsicum.
Yep. These onions weren't quite the onions I was after, because there are these much bigger onions that not a lot of the supermarkets seem to stock.
But where they're fatter on the ends.
Much fatter, big bulbs, almost
looks like an onion on the end, doesn't it?
Yeah. And but they're so hard to find, so I've had to end up with these ones, which they'll do. But Americans, they do everything bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to do a quick marinade on this one, which is basically olive oil, balsamic vinegar, some salt, some minced garlic, black pepper, and then we'll just stick them in there for a little bit.
So I'll give you a hand. What do you want? Shall I peel the garlic for you?
Yeah, mincing it in some way we need to do.
Do you want me to finely grate it on the microplane so you've got almost a puree of garlic? Yeah. And where's this dish from?
This is from when I went to Santa Fe, because when I was touring America, I never got to see America, particularly the Southwest, and so I actually decided to take my family down there, and in the interim period, a friend of mine, a musician friend, said, well, if you're going down to New Mexico, you might want to go into a restaurant there called Cafe Pascual's. Yeah. It's run by a chef called Catherine Cagle, and I bought her because, well, there's a lot of things in there that are really, really nice. And so this is just one of her ways of doing these vegetables. And I think even the marinade came from the same book. There's quite a few sort of famous chefs from down that way. There's another one called Mark Miller. He's got a place called the Coyote Cafe.
That's right.
And you know that one.
I do, yes.
Yeah. Basically, it's a mix of slightly Mexican, slightly southwestern
So I understood
ideas.
You went with your family touring America. You lived in America, didn't you, for a while?
Yeah.
How long for?
I went over. I didn't live, but I went over there to spend a 6-month period. Yes, please.
How do you like it? Round,
like
straight down.
Straight down, if you could please. Thank you.
How
That's
thick?
what I was looking for. About 1/4 of an inch thick.
Right.
And so I went out to record some parts of my 4th album.
Yeah.
Then a couple of years later went back out to write and spent about 6 months out there in preparation to go back the following year for 3 months and record an album with Don Was. So all in all, I was out there for quite some time.
And how was being in the US? So were you LA?
Yeah.
So life in LA, how was that? As we think in your life of LA.
We don't need those. Right, lovely, thank you.
And how was life in LA?
Yes, it was. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There's a lot of English people out there that I hooked up with.
Do you want this cut in the same way, lengthwise?
Yes, please. Yeah, great. And I enjoyed being out there with them. I used to meet a lot of people. They used to do these Sunday roasts, and it was all the people like Rod Stewart, a lot of the musicians that worked with him, some people that were in the business side of music, and you go around the house and have Sunday dinners, and it would all be a big laugh.
With all the big stars?
Yeah, I suppose it was, yeah. B.A. Robinson was out there, and he was writing songs for other people by this point. And I also bumped into a lot of other people there, and then sometimes there's some great restaurants out there too. The Ivy was
There's a great story about the Ivy down here.
Yeah, it's a great restaurant. It's been there for years. It's a Cajun twist.
It
is an institution, yeah. And loads of really well-known people go there. So I was meeting Rod and his then girlfriend, and we were to have dinner, and then we got there, and he said, "Oh, Ronnie's going to pop in to say hello." Ronnie Wood. And over on another table,
everybody needs to know.
Over on another table, there's a very, very well-known actress from the 60s all the way through, and this was the late 80s. So she was in her later years, but she could still hit the sauce if she wanted to. So things were getting a bit raucous on our table and getting a bit loud. So then she started to loudly complain, and which only riled the other boys up to make more noise, of course. And she proceeded to get more and more drunk until she was laying on one of those long seats as opposed to the chairs, just shouting at them to shut up and I'm going to report you to the police. You know, it just made them worse. So,
and who was it?
Oh no, I can't say it.
Oh, come on, we've got to be able to reveal this.
No, I can't say that. But she did, I'll do a cryptic one. She had a very famous brother who the song You're So Vain was written about.
Work that one out.
Yeah, you got to work that one out. Yeah.
I know.
You have to get on the internet for that one.
Yeah. Right, so we've got the vegetables.
Yeah.
Right, marinade.
The marinade is made from extra virgin oil.
Let me open this for you.
Now,
so
should I
Mediterranean vegetables.
I probably need to mix this in something, don't I? And then pour it over.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to need almost a cup of oil.
Yeah, cup of oil, and then you can actually, when I can get this actually open. Come on, Barry. There we go. Balsamic vinegar.
Yes. Balsamic vinegar.
Now, do you do that in? Is it like a dressing or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
so like
dressing.
3 to 1.
So yeah. Oh yeah, about that. They don't actually say 3 to 1, but it is like a dressing.
Yeah.
I think that would do you?
A bit more.
I do like balsamic.
Ah, me too. Balsamic vinegars. I went to a balsamic vinegar tasting once in Italy, and it was. You don't realise all the different levels.
No.
I mean, it was like something like 100ml bottle, and it was like £250 a bottle equivalent of our. But it was like syrup. It's like sugar. It was amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that would do. Put a little bit of salt in there. Some black pepper.
Yeah.
Ooh, I didn't think about that.
Black pepper. I've got black pepper for you. Here we go. And I need to open this, so bear with me.
It says about 2 teaspoons, but I don't know if I've got the
Just
wheel.
heavily seasoned. Yeah.
Yep.
It's childproof even for me. There you go.
Right then. So I'm going to go like crazy on this.
Yep.
We need another story now, don't we?
Well done. Take the lid.
Take the lid off.
We've all done that, Paul. Don't worry.
Oh.
So,
Yeah.
most famous, the best dinner and the best guest you've had at dinner. Not necessarily at your house, or where you've been out. Where's that been?
Hard to say. There's been a few. I mean, there's a memorable one with George Michael, which was lovely because we didn't get to see a lot of each other. And people think we might, but they pretty much just let us stay in the Ivy all afternoon. You know,
What, here in London?
Yeah, we
nice.
happened to be in the same day, same lunchtime.
Yeah.
And so we just stayed there and stayed on the table, just all chat together. He was with a couple of mates and I was with my wife. So that was a nice one. Another one which people might not know about was Donny Osmond came round my house for dinner. And that happened because my manager was looking after him just to help out, really, because he knew Donny's American manager. And so he was over and it was quite interesting because his fans, they follow him everywhere. So they
Literally?
Yeah, I mean, when he leaves a hotel, they follow him. They go on the underground. They can get on the underground with him. He gets off the underground at the other end and he says to them, I'm going to Paul Young's house now, so I don't want you to follow me. And I'm telling you I will be back at 9:30 or something like that. So it came to that time and he said, I've got to go now because I promised them that I would be there at 9:30.
Really?
And they respectfully stayed away. And then he met them there and they ride on the underground back into town with him.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's a level of fan worship.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen a lot, but that guy's had it since the 70s.
And fans for you, I suppose, you get them following you everywhere, don't you, I suppose? Loyal fans who follow you to concerts in the sense that you...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you see the same faces sometimes in the crowds?
Yeah, that happens. So, right, that is going to marinate as best it can in there. I think I'll have to turn that around.
I came prepared,
somehow a bit
Paul.
later.
I came prepared.
Did you now?
As I always do, just in case, to help you mix it all up. I got you 2 gloves.
Oh, thanks.
So you don't have to wash your hands afterwards.
It's like surgery. Oh,
now,
we could have put them in a much bigger...
How long will you leave that for?
You can leave it for... It only needs to be left for like an hour or 2.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want it to... I guess you don't want it to soak too much because they'll get too soggy.
Well, especially in the aubergine, because it absorbs the oil. It's like a sponge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Oh, so you've got bigger hands, haven't you? I bought medium gloves.
Medium.
Yeah.
God almighty.
It's interesting with fans. When I was in Cape Town, I was a chef of this beautiful hotel in the harbour, and quite
making
often.
a right mess of this now.
That's all right. And quite often, one of our guests was Michael Jackson.
Oh, really?
And he always wanted to leave the hotel with fans waiting outside for him. He wouldn't leave the hotel if there was no one waiting.
Oh,
I suppose it's interesting how the celebrities work with some things like that, isn't it? In the sense that, but also there's an element of press that sits behind that, isn't it? They want the publicity of people waiting for them.
Yeah, I think with Donny he was past that by the point that I met him, you know. But I guess they do. They like to make it work for them, you know, and then other people, they just do it.
I suppose one of the ultimate questions.
Loyalty. If the fans are loyal to him, then he was loyal in turn to them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And stalking fans, have you experienced that? You put your gloves in there.
Stalking fans, not really. I just had 1 or 2 that found out where I lived, but they would come from Europe, and so then they would every school break or whatever. There was one in particular that used to just stand outside the house for most of the half term, and then she'd disappear when school started, then come back on the next break.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was kind of... but I had to ask her to respect her privacy once again. I think I learnt from Donny.
Stay away.
Yeah, it's a little strange, but yeah.
So right, while that marinates,
Yep.
you've got your chicken. We're ready to cook. So we'll cook shortly. I'm just gonna. So my prawns are ready. I've just got to finish those with coriander and fresh lime. So we'll plate those up afterwards.
All right.
We'll get your pie through shortly. I'm just gonna get this pineapple on.
Yeah. Go on then.
So I'll explain to you what I'm going to do with this. Bear in mind, 'cause I don't want to burn this lovely table. Right, so this is one of those dishes. So chilled vanilla rice pudding. So my Yorkshire roots, rice pudding. Remember at school where it was hot, strawberry jam, making it all go pink or red depending how much strawberry jam you put in.
Yeah.
So when I was in Australia, I did a dinner. I was only there a month, and I had to do this dinner for Food and Wine Society. I had all these guests, 100 guests. I've been there a month, knew nobody, and we had to create some dishes that were inspired by us. And I worked with my pastry chef. Pineapple's a fruit that's very rarely used cooked. So I've had pineapple tart tatin.
Yeah.
But it's never something used in it, and to put it together with rice pudding.
Oh yeah.
So we place this, and actually what works is the pineapple dish itself, the actual pineapple and what will come in together, I'll explain in a minute, is served hot, and the rice pudding is served cold. So you this hot, cold thing, and it's absolutely beautiful. So in true spirit of France, a load of butter.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, so I'm going to put that on the
Fine by me.
stove just to soften up. Okay, now pineapple, so top and tail this. Oops, mother Lilla, don't lose that. Okay, and then just peel the outside. And once you've got that, okay. Right, now some people say to me, I always take the stalk out. That's a personal preference, but it's important in this dish because as you cook it, the stalk doesn't really tenderize.
Right.
So we dispose of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then cut it in half like that.
Again.
And again. And you're just going to dice it up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I love that smell already.
Yeah. Pineapple. I grew up in Yorkshire, so pineapple was one of those fruits that was really special, and you know, my folks only bought at certain times of the year. Get that off. Okay, so take this. Bear with me. Do you like rice pudding?
No. it's like you and pecans.
All right, okay. So this is a test for both of us, then, isn't it? Absolutely.
It's the one thing I never got on with at school.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's for me at school.
Yeah.
Not rice pudding. Sorry. For me at school, it was sago pudding or tapioca pudding, semolina. It was just like, you know, unless I was decorating the walls and putting wallpaper up, it was pointless in my opinion. It was awful. But you know, you go back to school meals. That's a whole other subject, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Well, I put tapioca and rice pudding in the same bag.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what they were very similar to my young taste buds.
So, right, put that there. Bear with me. Okay. So, just softening the butter. Let's just take that a little bit more. And what I've got for this, star anise, which I think's a great spice. So
yeah,
just 3. I love that aniseed. Yeah. Cinnamon. I'm going to put these into there like before. Just 1 cinnamon stick.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, drop that in there as well. Just let those cook through. I'm going to borrow your chopping board here. Vanilla pod. Now, with your vanilla pod, take the back of the knife and run it straight down that so you get it flat.
Right, yeah.
And then take it and run it straight down the middle.
Okay.
Okay, so you get it from both sides like that, and then with a knife, just take it through, and you scrape up so you get the vanilla seeds in there. So you get that paste of that as well.
Lovely.
Put those in with the whole vanilla pod as well.
Okay.
And then in here, I'm going to add the pineapple. And cook that on a reasonably high heat.
Okay.
Right, but what you're not wanting to do is burn the butter or brown it in any form. We're just trying to get all the flavours to come out, okay?
Yep.
So as that's cooking, the other thing I've got is muscovado sugar. Now I know you've used it earlier, but it's such a great caramelisation of flavours that come through this as well. So muscovado sugar. So in with 1 pineapple. So 3 tablespoons of muscovado sugar. Okay, in there as well. And rum. It's always got to be alcohol in it, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I've got that much. You're probably looking at, depending, about 100 to 200 mils of rum. All of that. And then just stir all of that in. And what we're going to do is just sit that on the side of the stove and let that cook down nicely. And what we're looking for is the pineapple to soften up. It goes slightly dark brown because it takes on the colour of the spices and the sugar and everything else. And then what I'll do is I'll drain off some of the liquid and I set that aside and I drain it, reduce it down to almost a syrup, and then add the pineapple back to it. And then we put this hot caramel sauce with a warm pineapple over this chilled vanilla rice pudding. So I'm going to let that cook away in the background while you get on with the rest. What do you want to do next?
Right, we need to do the rice.
So rice, what do you need? Rice?
We need some rice. We need some
saffron. Got your saffron here?
Yeah, okay. Right,